Welcome to PVZ Aesthetic Setups Rated. Today we're going to look at 20 different famous aesthetic setups and rate them into 5 tiers from S to F. Without further ado, let's get started. First, we have Square 6 Cob. No, it is not a mistranslation, it's literally called a square while being a hexagon. Also, using geometric shape is just too basic, F tier. But in fact, this was from 2009 and is considered to be one of the first aesthetic setups, so I bump it up to C tier. Secondly, Heartfight Cop, a love letter to a player named CZM5P. As you probably know, P is the symbol for Cob because Cob in Chinese is known as Pao. So making a 5 Cob setup to a person named 5P is not a bad idea. This was also the ancestor of all hard setups, solid A tier. And then we have the full symmetrical 16 Cob. Looks very nice, but it wasn't the first full symmetric setup, B tier. Next up, the true To Cob. First ever setup to depict a number. Also T in Chinese net slang means dumb, so it also adds a bit of funky silliness to it. A tier. Snowflake 7 Cob. It's often shown with snowflakes special effects, but let's face it, first snowflakes look nothing like this. Second, this is just another hexagon. Instant F tier. Here we have Garden 6 Cob, an absolute masterpiece. It reminds me of an old Shakespeare saying, "This just works." S tier. Triangle 6 Cob. It was actually created by myself. It looks like one of those triangle things teachers would use. It's geometric shape, but has a bit more design. I'll have to say B tier. Next up is everyone's favorite Ice Lantern. Apparently the name is taken from a Chinese poem. If relatives and friends in Luoyang ask about me, tell them I stay virtuous much like ice in a jade jug. The setup is simple, but its connection to the poem is good, A tier. Then we have Hourglass 11 Cob, famous for its use of distinct color blocks, absolutely an A tier. Okay, here, half point we have Falling Moon for Cob. It also got inspiration from Chinese poetry. How many can go home by moonlight who are missed? The sinking moon sheds yearning over riverside trees. Yes, that all sounds good until you notice how terrible it looks during the game. We have this, and this. That just doesn't look like a moon. I call it Theranos of PVZ. F tier. Next, we have a spoon of Tang Yuan. In case you didn't know, Tang Yuan is a traditional Chinese food that looks like this. Very creative to depict food, but honestly the setup doesn't look like Tang Yuan, so F tier. Trophy for Cob, a little bit abstract but still understandable. I would say B tier. Tai Chi for Cob, same thing with the falling moon. It looks terrible in game, but the full Cob and empty Cob contrast is not bad. I would give it C tier. Now let's get festive with the Christmas Tree 8 Cob. Absolutely stunning, and the use of starfruit on top is spot on. A tier. Next up, the Ellipse 14 Cob. Nice use of the roof terrain, but you know the rule. Geometric shape with a bit design goes to B tier. Then we have Flower Field 8 Cob. I have to point out that this setup was created in 2019, but up until today in 2023, it has got absolutely no solution. Yes, the setup just doesn't work. This is Plants vs. Zombies, so you can't just ignore the zombies part, F tier. Next, we have something with a really long name. Its literal translation is Flowers and Trees Hidden in Buddhist Temple. But if you look at it, it actually kind of makes sense, right? The vibe is very nice and the whole structure is perfectly balanced. I would say it deserves to be a second S tier. Ugly 14 Cob. You might be thinking, wait, why is this ugly? Guess what? It's a Chinese character. This is also the first ever setup to depict a Chinese character. Very innovative, but still the character is very simple. B tier. The next setup has the shortest name of all, Mask. And it's very straightforward, it's a mask. Nice use of spike rocks and tangle kelps, A tier. Finally, our last one is Lawn 18 Cob. Created during COVID and inspired by the disease. Great idea to mix real life with PVZ, but the shape is kind of simple, so B tier. Here is our final result. Did you like it? Do you have a different opinion? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and this has been PVZ Aesthetic Setups Rated.